I wanted to give my thoughts mostly on my match against Piponeer, but also on some of the other highlights from the tournament. So this was against Tofu, and I won the first set 3-0, but I didn't actually play that well, I would say. I made some poor decisions and got lucky. And the way they played, they really could have won the first 2 points, and they just kind of got unlucky. So, but I did win at least. This is a little bit of a weak attack, but it's kind of like just saying, I think the opponent might not be strong enough to deal with it, so I'm going to do it anyway. And they found a good 2 double, so this was like pretty even. No one has a clear advantage. And I found a really good counter to this attack. So I wasn't sure if it was a 1 or a 2 chain, but if it was a 1 chain only, I was like building tall, so I'd be ready to take the garbage. And then when I saw it was a 2 chain, I was able to find a really fast 3 chain off of the towel. So that was a really good play that I made. And then they commit to main chain, and if I'm not playing that well, I lose to this a lot of times. But here, I got a really good extension off, so that was really solid. And then I won that point. Yeah, for the Piponeer match. So if you go by this by a certain rating system, it expects me to only win like 20% of rounds or something like that. So, and I think the rating system tends to be pretty accurate. So those are the odds we're looking at. But I came in with a plan, and even though I did, a lot of times things don't necessarily work out as you plan. But somehow I would say this set went almost like exactly as I planned, which was kind of cool. Because usually that doesn't happen, but I was like, I've got a plan for this set, and let's see if I can make it work. So one of the big ideas was that I wanted to make it play in a way that was like almost made it look like I wasn't that good or something. So like do things that people think aren't that good or, or are kind of crazy or bizarre like this 1 chain. And here I was actually playing not that good because like I like messed up and cleared a 1 chain. Even if I set off the chain I had with the yellows though, I wouldn't really have been at an advantage, but I should have been able to get there. But it's like, I'm just gonna I'm gonna play in a way that where I don't care too much, or it looks like I don't care too much, and it looks like I'm not that good or whatever, and then you know your opponent might adjust to that and then not play as well themselves and give you a chance to beat them that you otherwise wouldn't have had. So here I'm doing another kind of like off meta build. Looks like I might be doing something crazy. If I draw red green, I have a 2 double. So Piponeer has to be thinking like, oh, something weird might happen. I don't know what this guy's doing. So now I send a strange 2 chain. And then he takes the garbage. Like, but these are things like no one really does plays like this. And then I just thought, I can't see what he has here, so I'm gonna follow up on it. And then I guess I was right. He didn't really have anything. So I won that point. And I was like, as long as I can keep it close, I'm gonna give myself a chance to win. So it's like, as long as it stays close, I'm gonna have a chance. So this is like one of my favorite builds to use because it's a really good trick build and it pretty much catches everyone at least one time and you'll win the point. So it looks like a very obvious attack and it looks like you're really over committing to the attack and then given the last couple of rounds I played too, he's got to be thinking like, well, as long as I don't die to this really obvious attack, then I'm gonna win the round. So part of the goal is to make the opponent think that they don't have to play very well to beat you. They just have to like do something simple. Because if they play well, they probably are gonna beat you. But but it just looks like they I don't have anything. I just am committing so hard to this attack that as long as they don't die to that, then they're gonna win the round. So so he's like looking. You can see him looking to see if I'm gonna set it off. Am I gonna set it off? And then as soon as I cover it, he's like, okay, I'm gonna win this round. He covered the attack, and then he sends it two chain. And I send something off the top, and he doesn't know what it is. And it's like, okay, I just need to counter that, and that's actually pretty big. And this is when, like, I think you're almost never gonna see a pro lose to someone randomly making an 8 chain, just like building an 8 chain and sending it. But this is one where, like, if he thought I was really strong and like gonna make a really big chain all the time, I don't think he would have lost to this, but I think he thought I wasn't very good and I wasn't gonna be able to make a big chain out of this situation. And as a result, he just wasn't ready to counter it. Where, like, otherwise it would have been really easy for him to extend his chain and win the round, but he just didn't expect me to be able to do this. So this is why it's a trick build, because I was planning on doing this from the start of the round. So especially when you get a really nice draw for it. Like this was a really good draw for this build. So I was building this chain in that style from the start of the round. That was the intent, to build that chain. But it's not obvious. Like, so if you don't think that's what I'm doing, see, so now I'm making the tell with the blues and the purples. It doesn't look like that's what I'm doing though, so it's easy to get thrown off. But that's why I think it's a really cool build, because it doesn't look like that's what you're going for. So it's gotta be thinking like, man, this person plays in such a strange way. Here, I wanted to build another like aggressive opening, but I didn't get the colors I wanted for it, and I didn't want to slow down and split a lot or build too inefficiently. So instead, I built an attack on top. So now I have a 2 double 3 chain off of this red. So I was looking at it, but I saw if you set off this red, he would have a 2 triple, or he could set off the blues and put a red and have a 4 chain. So it didn't look like a good time for the attack. So I didn't send it here. But I wanted to make it, look like I was just going for a crazy attack every round or something. And I saw this and I was like, well, I only have one option here. Maybe not. There might have been something else I could have done here, but I didn't see it in the moment. And then you kind of expect, like, since their opponent is like a pro, you kind of expect to not have an advantage here. But this one I could have gotten. I wasn't playing my best, I don't think, because I could have won this round, but I didn't. But it was like, this is part of like what I expected, where like I was gonna give myself a chance to win, but some of that would depend on me actually playing really well, like playing to the best of my ability, and sometimes that wasn't gonna happen. But it's still 2-2, so I had no plans for an all-clear match, but I wanted to keep the same mentality of like, oh, I'm just gonna do something bizarre, something unexpected, at any point. So in this round, I did a little bit of a fake. Like I wanted, if he wasn't ready, he might look and think this is a 2-double, but it's not a 2-double. It's a 5-chain. But it still looked like it might work. But he had a counter. But the counter actually wasn't that good. But I couldn't get my second chain off. But he didn't realize I had a chain I could set off like this. So I countered that pretty easily. And this is again, I think he was kind of like mentally like feeling like I don't think this person is that good. I don't think I think I should be able to beat this person pretty easily, so he didn't like max out every chain. He didn't go for the best extensions he could have, and as a result I won a lot of rounds. So it's kind of like that's something that I notice when I play against someone who's a lot weaker, is that then at least, or that I think is a lot weaker than I am, sometimes I'll change how I build because I feel like I don't have to actually do too much. I just have to make sure I don't like die to something crazy, or like I don't get in a situation where I don't draw a certain color a bunch of times and then that causes me to lose. I just have to play safe. But then when I do that, then I actually also play worse, and then that gives my opponent chances to win anyway, where maybe if I just played my normal game, I would have done better. So that happens to me sometimes. So here I wanted to keep up the same mentality, like I'm gonna do something crazy every round. Here's that one chain again. This one was pretty good one chain, I think. I would consider this like a solid advantage, but not a guaranteed win or anything. Here I misread his chain. I didn't see the garbage was gonna clear here, so I thought he can't connect his main chain. But then after I set it up, I was like, oh, that's connected. So then I just lost this round. But again, it's kind of just with that mentality of playing in a way where, your opponent thinks, this guy's not that good. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. But somehow he has 3 points, and I have 3 points, and we're tied. This one, I didn't really look at his screen because when you get such a good draw, so I had no splits, and I had a 2 triple with 2 links or 5, and it's a quick. So when you draw this well, you can kind of just send the attack without looking, and it tends to be good. Like even if he drew a yellow, it would only be a 4-chain, and I'd probably still have a pretty big advantage. He would have to draw 2 yellows to make a 5-chain, and I'd probably be at a slight disadvantage, but it'd still be playable. So if you can like build an attack that's this clean and this fast, you can kind of just always send it in the opening. So that pretty much won the round. Then I was on set point, so it's like whether I'm good or not, I'm now on set point, and I'm looking to win this set. This one again, I was going to go for an aggressive opening, but I didn't quite draw what I wanted to, so I just made it a more normal build. And I went for a bit of a strange 2-chain. I was looking and I was like, I think he only has main chain, so I'm gonna focus on building a chain. Here I committed too hard. I should have just sent the 2-chain, but even this is like a winnable situation. Just this is another one where it's like I'm gonna give myself these chances. This is also what I was going for, where it's like I want chances like this where if I play well, I'll win this round, but I might not be able to do it. And here I wasn't able to do it, but it was like a solid chance to win the round that I just couldn't execute on. but it's way better than, the 20% chance the rating gives me or whatever. Like, when I'm in that position, I think I have a better than 20% chance to win the round if I'm playing well. But I don't think I was actually playing that well in that sense. But somehow, I find myself at tied double set point. And I wanted to do one more, like, crazy attack. So here I'm setting up the big 2 double on the left side. As soon as I get a yellow, I can send it, but I see he's leaving the green open, so I can't commit too hard to that. So it feels like he might be like playing again over cautiously or playing in a way that he doesn't really normally play just because he thinks that's going to give him the best chance to win, and then I cover the attack. So it's like, okay, now I'm not actually going to attack. I changed my mind. But then I clear this one shade, and I'm like, oh wait. Then I clear this, and I'm like, wait, actually, I think I am gonna attack. And then so then he's like, oh what? Like he didn't see this coming. But the trick is, it's not actually an attack. It's just like my main chain. And again, I think you'll almost never see a pro player just lose to someone randomly sending a 7 or an 8 chain just during the round, but I found a way to make it work because he probably didn't think I was making a main chain or thought I was like committing too hard to some kind of attack. So this build is an alternative build where like there was a time where I wanted to use it, so I like tried it out a lot, but it wasn't working out that well for me. But nowadays I think I got better at chaining, and now so I thought about trying this build again, and it actually worked pretty well without me having to actually like practice it very much. So now I throw it in there every now and then because I do pretty well with it. So the idea is that have a you're generally going left to right, and you essentially immediately get into a transition. No matter what colors you draw, you can get your transition down and then get into the mid game immediately. So like right now I have a 2 double very quickly, but it's not necessarily an overcommitment if I just send it because I still like have a transition. I still have a build left over. So it's meant to be more of a like normal, like a not an all-in attack, but an aggressive opening that's not all in, that forces your opponent to like play defensively, but still like actually make a chain at the same time. So here, like I saw he had like, this whatever 3 double or 4 chain on the left, different 2 chain options on the right. So I went for something that I thought would be hard for him to counter in the moment, which is just a main chain. And I won a set. And I was really happy. It's like, wow, I won a set. And I think, part of me was like, alright, well, that's as good as I can expect. I won a set, first to 5. But, and I kind of like, maybe didn't play with the same mindset. Like, I was like, well, I'm satisfied with winning a set. But, you know, as a result, maybe I kind of like let off and didn't play as uh, sharp. But here, this I made a really good read because it's not obvious, but like that form doesn't look like he's gonna get it in time to counter my 2 double. So it looks like I can just send it. But I looked at the next pieces and I saw the two reds and the green, and I was like, ah, I can't do it. He's drawing the colors right there, so I didn't commit to the attack. So that's a sign that, like, at least on that round, I was really paying attention. Because there's times where I I can't pay attention that well, and I can't build that well. So, like, I'm not actually. Sometimes I can't really look at the opponent's field when I attack, and I just have to send it, or I don't, like, make good decisions based on their field. But sometimes I do. Now, this is another situation where it's like I'm giving myself real chances to win, and then kind of messing it up. But like this is as good as you can ask for a chance to win a round against a pro, pretty much. It's like, yeah, I'll take that. And if I mess it up, well, that's on me. But this is again that fast transition build. So the thing you'll see, like with GTR, you may not be able to complete the transition if you don't get the right colors a lot. So if you use a build like this, no matter what colors you get, you can find a way to make a transition out of it. So then if the opponent is like fixed on GTR and they aren't getting the colors for it, you might be able to punish that. So that's the idea behind the build. Here I was looking, I was like, I think I only see a 2-chain. It looks like it'll be hard for him to beat this. I'm gonna go with the 3-chain. And this was actually a really good attack, and I should have won this round. I thought the yellows were gonna connect into a 3 double, but it was actually a 4-chain. But if it was a 3 double, I would have won. And I didn't realize, but he got really lucky with the piece sequence, because he needed a purple and a blue and a green on the right, and then a green, and then a purple. And then he got all of those in order pretty much. And as a result, I lost the round, but like that one I played really well, I think. I made a good decision. Except at the end where I could have made a 3 double instead of a 4-chain. So I should have had that point, but I got a bit unlucky and made a bit of a bad decision at the very end. Here again, it was just like I want to keep up the image of like, oh, I'm gonna do something bizarre, like send a 1-chain, something that doesn't make sense, and then I'm gonna look to attack. And I was looking at a 3-chain, but I could see he's got a flexible 3-chain right there. But so here, when he clears the reds, it's gonna be a 3 double. But with the greens and then the purple, I saw him put the purple, and I was like, okay, he's not going to be able to get through to the main chain. So as long as I can beat that, what he's building right there, I might be able to win the round. So I went for this 5-chain because I was like, he's not going to get to his main chain without clearing. But he cleared a 2-chain, and I was like, oh, that's how that works. And then I was like, well, guess I'm going to lose this round. And then he got really unlucky and didn't draw a single purple in like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 draws, and I won the round. But it kind of makes up for the last round, to be fair. So, but yeah, I didn't see he was gonna make a 2-chain and clear that. This is again, I was just opening with the 1-chain to kind of like throw him off, do things that aren't normal. Here, I think I was trying to get him to misread the chain because I knew I didn't have the yellow, so, but I thought he might not see it and he might try to extend a lot. But he saw it. Again, these are things where it's like most people aren't gonna do these types of things, so they're really unexpected, I would say, and hard to deal with if you're not like used to dealing with it. This one, I was like, oh, well, he's got his transition there. So then I was like, I can't attack on this. But then I saw he put the piece that way. I was like, how did he put it that way? I was like, why did he do that? Didn't he see? It's like, man. I was like, I could have sent it, but I didn't expect him to block off the transition like that. I was like, he's got a safe build. I was like, what? So I was like, all right, I better make it an attack again. But then by that time, he already like finished the transition and now had a safe build again. And I was like, what, man? I missed my chance. I tried to play out the round kind of normally, but this time I think he wasn't like he was still trying to extend because he's like, oh, this person still has a chain. And this, I should have won this round too. This one, it's like I gave myself a decent chance to win, and I just couldn't do it in the moment. But, you know. And part of me was kind of like, well, at least I won one set, so whatever happens, I won one already. But, yeah. But when I look back at it, it really feels like I could have won the match too. Here I was looking and I was like, okay, after I clear this one chain, I'm gonna really look at his build and think about if I can send the attack. And I looked and I was like, I don't see anything there. And I like cleared it and I was like, wait, there's something there. If he clears that yellow on the right, it's gonna be a counter and I'm probably gonna lose. But I'm already committed. And then he like wasn't able to clear the yellow. And I won that round. And I had an idea here because the final set, if I didn't win this one, I was planning on playing just a normal game because I'm still like good at the game normally. I don't have to play like this to win, except maybe against people who are way higher level. But I wanted to do a build that was more normal looking. So this one looks still ambiguous, but it's not the same opening I usually do when I do an aggressive opening. So, so I like to try and throw in some variation. So like where it looks like I'm doing a normal build, but then I just do an attack out of it. And this was a really clean attack with a lot of power. So, and I saw his form. He need he needs 2 yellows and then a red. And I was like, I don't see that coming. And then a blue after that. And he didn't put the yellow red on the left side. So it was like, yeah, this looks like a really good attack to me. And something I learned from playing a bunch of like high level matches in practice coming up to this event was that you can't let your guard down in these situations or you're just going to lose. So if you try to finish it out too quickly, like if I sent a 3 chain, it would get countered by that 3 chain and then I would lose this round. So I knew that. And I was like, I'm going to build more and I still might lose the round, but I'm not going to like just give up the advantage that easily. So, and here I did win the round. Then I really wanted to do a normal looking build that I do like a crazy attack out of. So here I'm making GTR, but I think my goal was to my goal was to use this green to set off a really big attack like this. So I sent a 1 chain and I was looking to see if it looked like a good opportunity. So here I'm setting up to make like 2 triple maybe with the greens, but it's not like the greens are accessible here, so I can't commit just yet. And I was looking, and then I was like, maybe I should just like do something else. Here again, I was like, if your opponent gives you this many chances to win, you have to take advantage of it if you want to win, especially when they're this much higher level than you. Like, I could have won this round too, but I didn't. But if I was like playing a little bit better, and part of it is just me not being good enough, of course, but if I was like playing a little bit better, I would have won this match, I think. I could have won it too well, but it didn't happen. So, this set, I was like, I'm just gonna play a standard game. Just completely normal, nothing crazy, and just try and win it through like a standard game, no tricks, nothing like that. Just a little bit, aggressive, leaning maybe a little bit prediction based. So in that sense, here I was looking at his build the whole time because I was like, okay, I have a 2-chain, but he's got this 3-chain on the greens and can be extended. So I was like, can't do that. But because he's like from what I can see, he's really looking at this 3-chain. I'm gonna send a 4-chain really quickly. So this was a read on the 3-chain. And a lot of times at this level, like at the pro level, they find some kind of crazy extension and make a 5-chain and win the round. But I was like, I see a 3-chain. I don't see a 4-chain. I'm gonna go for this. And then he made a 5-chain, of course. But I knew it was a 5-chain. I just didn't know. Like, if I set off on the reds, I would have a 4-chain. But that's not gonna win the round. Like, I think that just loses. So it's like I have to add one more link in, and I didn't know how to do it. Again, it's just like, this is why I'm not 3,500 rating, I'm like 3,100 rating. But if I drew the purples, I would have had something to set off. But even then, I don't think I would have had an advantage. But I was like, sure it's hard to win these normal rounds. I was like, oh, I still believe in myself to be able to play a strong normal round though. So I was like, I'm gonna play a normal round again and hope that he expects I'm gonna do something crazy. I was like, okay, got a 2-chain, but it's probably not a good idea to send that. If he goes blue to red to yellow to green, that's a 4-chain. So I was like, if I can beat out the 4-chain, this is my normal round, if you haven't noticed. I guess at a higher level, most people don't look at attacks like this and send them, so it's not exactly a normal round, but for me it's a normal round. So I was like, I see a 4-chain, blue to red to yellow to green. I was like, I'm gonna try and beat it out. And then, so like if he sent with the blues, that was, again, that's only 4, and I think I have a pretty big advantage there. So I was like, I think I got him. And then he somehow extended to 6-chain. I was like, I guess I didn't get him. I was like, sure it's hard to win a normal round against a pro. And this is where I felt like, if he played more like this every round, he probably would have won a lot more points. Like, I don't know if I would have won a set, but I was really going for like a meta game, like a mental game where like I thought I could make him play worse than he normally plays, and as a result get some wins that I usually wouldn't be able to get against a player of this caliber. So then I was like, alright, I'm not playing a normal round. Let's go with the 1-chain opening. This one too, I probably could have just sent it as a 2-chain, and then sending it as a 3-chain made my job much harder to extend. But, like, this round too, like, I had a decent chance here, I just couldn't do it on this day. Like, it was at least even odds, I'd say. like if I would have extended better, then he would set up a second chain probably, and I would have to make a second chain, and then if I could do that as well as he did, then I would be like even odds to win, something like that. But you know, I'm only 3,100 and not 3,500, so I wasn't able to do it. So I was like, alright, I'm going back to non-standard builds. This to me just looked like a really defensive build and really committed to main chain. So I was like, alright, I'm gonna have to also build a main chain, but I can't do anything too crazy. But a one chain like this is really strong. I was like, okay, a lot of times you just win the round outright if you can make a one chain like this. But the way he built, it was like his main chain was still accessible, and I was like, man, they're too good. So I was like, oh, I can't commit to anything crazy. I was like, yeah, gonna have to deal with this for a bit. And I was like, oh, maybe he doesn't have it. And then, you know, later I realized he didn't have a tell here, so he was trying to figure out how to make a tell so that he actually has a chain that does something, and he wasn't able to. I was like, well, that build worked so well, why not do it again? This one, I feel like I made a really good decision, so I was looking at his build and I was like, eh, he needs 2 reds, and then I saw he has no reds coming, and the way it's built, if it's not a double red, then he has to split every piece to get the red in. So I was like, I think this attack has a really good chance of working. So I sent it because, you know, there's no reds here, so he has to draw like 2 reds in the next 3 pieces that can't be seen, or I just probably win the round. Maybe. Sometimes you can do something on the other side, so it's not so clear. But it's like, I think this has a good chance, and then he just drew 2 reds. But, you know, if you're gonna play this strategy, that you have to accept when that happens, because that's gonna happen a lot. But I think it was a really good decision, so I was like, yeah, that was pretty on point, because I was reading even like the colors he's getting. This one was a bit of a silly round. It's like, okay, I guess I just win, except I didn't quite just win. And it got kind of dangerous, but I ended up winning. It was an all clear, and again, I didn't really have a plan for like all clear matches. It's like, eh. And I just lost the round. But I really feel like, so I was able to win one set, and I really feel like I gave myself really good odds to like even win another set and win the match. Like I did as good as I could ask for. Like I did as much as I could strategy wise, I think. Now against Void for losers top 8. So I won the first set. What happened this round? So here, I thought he might be going for an attack on the left, and it's like I'm gonna build something big to be ready to like counter, and I might just send it just because that's how I play. So it's like I'm gonna build this like 4 or 5 chain setup on my transition, so when he does this like attack on the left side, I'll counter it, and then I might send it in advance just because I think it'll work. So I was like about to send it, and then he sent his main chain, and I saw, and I didn't send it. And I was like, okay, no, I see that. But I was actually pretty close to like just putting the piece down. So I was like, and I was like, oh no. And then I won that round.
Clear the mind. Fighting Queen, did you enjoy my technique?
Oh, here. This is another one where it's like, I like to guess the what kind of chain would be the hardest for the opponent to deal with, and then send that chain. So here there's an obvious 2 chain, but that's only 2, so I just send a 3 chain just to see like, oh great, what are you gonna do against this? And it's main chain, and it's like, okay, well if I can extend my chain well, I should win this round. But as you saw in the match against Piponeer, I was missing a lot of these extensions, so a lot of times I don't get it, but I found a really good line here that gave myself a good chance, and then I got the extension off, and it was like a really solid extension.
Clear the mind. 7. Exploding knee.
So even though I missed it a lot against Piponeer, sometimes I hit some of these good extensions. So I didn't like sometimes I can play well.
My technique.
And then so that was 4-2, but then I lost 2 rounds in a row, and I was like I have a tendency to like be really streaky with a lot of wins and then a lot of losses. And Void somehow has a habit of like always bringing it back against me and then beating me in the end. So I was like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable here. I don't know if I'm gonna win this, but so this is again. It looks like he's not really thinking about attacking or anything. So I'm gonna do really small chains because like if he had a 3 chain, it might be bad if I send a 1 chain, but he doesn't have a 3 chain. He doesn't have anything he wants to send, so I'm gonna send really small things to try and like force him into doing like sending his main chain or taking garbage in an awkward way and filling up maybe. So I sent a 1 chain and a 2 chain, and I got him to set off his main chain. And again, as you saw in the match against Piponeer, a lot of times I mess up the extensions. So a lot of times I lose in this situation where like theoretically I probably have the advantage, but it's hard to convert on. But this time I was like, I can't lose this one. I was actually playing this match really like calmly because I had just played against Void, a lot in practice coming up to this. So it felt just like that practice match to me. So I wasn't really nervous. I was like, okay, I think I got this. I just have to get this chain off correctly. And I was really noticing things in this round because I saw if I put the red here, it's gonna cut. So like I was thinking about putting the red there, and I noticed like while I was playing, I can't put a red there because it's gonna cut. So I made sure not to put the red there, and then this piece too, it's another red. I made sure not to put the red in the second column facing down because I was like, that's gonna cut. And I knew I just need one more yellow, and then if I set it off, it should be good. It's like I set it off, and it's like I think I got it. think I think this wins. I was like, all right, hopefully this wins. It's like if I have to build a second chain, I'm ready, but hopefully this just wins, and I don't have to do that. And I didn't have to do that. It's like so just being able to win a couple rounds like that, where I actually extend my chain under pressure and do a good extension, was really nice.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, then this one, I went 0 and 5 in the first set against Doremi. So, but then I brought it back 4-4 in the second set. So it was like, high pressure. Because like coming into the tournament, it was like if I got top 8, I'd be really happy. But then when you're at top 8 and you have the chance to win more, that's like, yeah, I kind of want to do better than top 8 now that I'm here. But this was like really tough. It's another situation where all I have to do is extend my chain and I'll win, but it's never that easy to do in practice. And with all the yellows, it was so hard to figure out where I could put the yellows without like blowing everything up. And then I have to set off the yellow. And it's like, oh, how do I set off the yellow? So I have to put something here that's not yellow or red. And it's like, okay, put this here and then put the yellow. And I wasn't sure if it was enough. Because good, I'm only 3100. But it was just barely, like, just barely was enough in terms of chain size. But with the second chain, it was just barely enough to maintain an advantage. So I really do think I was like playing nervous against Piponeer, and I couldn't make the extensions that I can make at other times. Here I thought this should have been enough to win the round, but it wasn't. But I was ready to like keep playing. I was like, And here I thought this should be enough, but it wasn't. I was like, it's like I'll be really annoyed if I lose here, but this was enough to win the round. But the final point that I did lose was a lot like that. so I'm kind of annoyed at that, but Doremi played well. But anyway, one of the things that I hope other people take away from it is that your opponent can be like, 400 points, 300 points higher rated than you, a lot more experienced than you, and a lot better, practice than you, and you might still be able to find a way to beat them. So, just believe that you have a chance to win and play to give yourself a chance to win, and you might actually win. And so, in the long run, you'll probably lose to someone who's better than you, but, in a tournament set, even like first to 5, you might be able to beat them, and you just have to play in a way that gives you a chance to win. So, hopefully, like, if you're not like if you're playing someone higher rated than you can like figure out a way to give yourself a chance to win against them.